Hello viewers! On today's news, New Zealand lobbied France's territories in the Pacific to respond to news of a controversial security pact between China and the Solomon Islands that set off alarms in Western capitals. Newly released documents reveal, within days of a draft version of the security pact leaking online in March 2022, representatives of New Zealand, Australia, and France were meeting to discuss the implications for the region, the diplomatic cables obtained by sources show. While the precise nature of the discussions is unclear, due to redactions in the documents, the cables suggest Wellington hoped officials in French Polynesia and New Caledonia would take a position on the Solomon Islands-China agreement. New Zealand diplomats in New Caledonia's capital, Noumea, noted in their reports to Wellington that neither French Polynesia nor New Caledonia is likely to take a public position on the deal, after a meeting with New Caledonia's High Commissioner Patrice. For on March 30th, New Zealand officials reported that they had relayed an unspecified suggestion to their French counterpart, noting the need for the first response to be from Pacific leaders and from the Pacific Islands. Forum. We suggested it would be helpful for the New Zealand diplomat said, referring to suggested action whose details are redacted in the documents. For undertook to do so, as well as to speak to High Commissioner Serrain, his counterpart in Papeete, with the same aim in mind, the diplomat said, referring to High Commissioner of French Polynesia Dominique Serrain. New Zealand officials held 3 meetings in total with officials from the French overseas territories between March 29th and March 30th. The documents show, including discussions with the President of French Polynesia Edouard Fritsch and François Béhieux, the head of the Regional Cooperation and External Relations Department in New Caledonia, Australia's then Consul General in New Caledonia, Alison Carrington, joined the Kiwi diplomats in their meetings with Faure and Béhieux. According to the documents, the Pacific Islands Forum PIF serves as the preeminent regional organization for Pacific leaders to discuss, build consensus, and act on shared challenges. Pacific Islands Forum members have the collective capacity and a strong commitment to support each other to meet the broader ambitions for the region's security, as set out in the Baiktawa and Boe declarations, a spokeswoman for New Zealand's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade said in a statement provided after publication. For example, New Zealand has a long-term security partnership with Solomon Islands, most recently demonstrated in New Zealand's participation with Australia and Fiji in the Solomon Islands International Assistance Force (SIOF) and the security support we provided to the Solomon Islands hosting of the Pacific Games late last year. Asked about perceptions that New Caledonia and French Polynesia were reluctant to comment publicly on the Solomon Islands-China Security Pact. However, security and defense issues are competencies of the French state, she said. Australia's Foreign Ministry and France's High Commissioners in New Caledonia and French Polynesia did not respond to our sources' requests for comment. News of the Solomon Islands-China Security Pact in 2022 prompted alarm in the United States, Australia, and New Zealand, which have long regarded Pacific Island nations as their geopolitical backyard. Western officials have raised concerns that China could use the pact to establish a military foothold in the Solomon Islands, which lie about 2,000 kilometers (1,242 miles) from Australia and 3,000 kilometers (1,864 miles) from major U.S. military installations on Guam, which both Beijing and Honiara have denied. Then New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern called the deal gravely concerning and warned it could lead to the militarization of the Pacific. Echoing similar warnings from the US and Australia, France was comparatively muted in its response to the pact despite the presence of more than 500,000 French citizens and 2,800 military personnel spread out across the Pacific. Legislatures that handle domestic issues. Paris handles the territory's security and defense. New Caledonia home to a French military base. Lies less than 1,400 kilometers (870 miles) south of Solomon Islands, and its native Kanak people share ethnic ties with Solomon Islanders. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel.